There's one streaming platform that's known to push out way too much horror content, and that's Netflix. The Watcher is another series that Netflix has produced for fans of the genre. In the miniseries, we see our main characters shifting into a new house where strange things start to happen to them. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the Watcher's cast and guide you through the characters they play. To start with, let's dig into Bobby Cannavale's character. The series is based on real-life events. It talks about the story of a couple that moves into a new house with their 2 children. Cannavale plays the male lead, Dean Brannock, in this true crime story. After the couple starts living in their new $1.3 million house in New Jersey, they receive a haunting letter from the Watcher. This forces Dean to reconsider his decision of shifting to this new house. What starts with just a letter spirals into a sequence of bone-chilling events. One after the other, we see Dean trying to manage the horrific events as the series progresses. Bobby Cannavale, probably one of the most recognizable faces in the cast, and rightly so, since he's acted in many notable movies such as Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, MCU's Ant-Man, and also The Irishman. Not only that, he also has 2 Primetime Emmy Awards to his name. Moving on to the protagonist's wife. Nora Brannock, played by Naomi Watts, is the wife of Dean Brannock. After receiving the letter from the Watcher, she goes on an investigation spree to try to identify the true identity of this Watcher, who's trying to terrorize them. And in the process, Nora becomes obsessed with finding the author of the letters, exactly like her real-life counterpart. She hires a private investigator with her husband, installs cameras all around the house, and even takes help from the police. Sadly, none of these steps help her or her husband to find what they're looking for. Naomi Watts is one of the more obvious choices for her role in this series, given her track record with horror films and series. If you still need a refresher, she was the main lead in the Ring franchise of the same genre. She also has 2 Academy Awards under her belt for her roles in 21 Grams and the disaster drama The Impossible. Up next, we have Jennifer Coolidge. Jennifer plays the role of Karen Calhoun, a realtor by profession and an old friend of Nora Brannock. Even though she's known the Brannocks for a long time, she still tries to make them feel like they really don't belong in such a wealthy neighborhood. Seems a little fishy, doesn't it? She plays an important role in the series. Not a very significant one in terms of screen time, but surely one that's picked directly to depict the real-life realtors involved with the actual case. But one thing to note is that Broaddus' real estate agents were never named in the original article from the New York Magazine. You may recognize Coolidge from her performances such as American Pie, Legally Blonde, A Cinderella Story, and most recently in The White Lotus, following up with the children of Dean and Nora Brannock. Luke David Bloom plays the role of Carter Brannock, the son of the Brannock couple. He's also the younger of the 2 children. Luke comes from a family of actors, such as his father, Matthew Sean Bloom. You may not recognize him much, but that's because he's only just started in the field of acting. He's only 13, although he still does have a few recognizable roles to his name, such as playing Harold in Pete Davidson's The King of Staten Island and Little Tate in Where the Crawdads Sing. He's also appeared in the psychological drama The Sinner. Not to mention the other child. Ellie Brannock, played by Isabel Gravitt, is the daughter of Dean and Nora, as well as the elder sister of Carter. She portrays the character wonderfully, being as anxious as her parents after receiving the letters of horror. Both Ellie and Carter are quite visibly frightened by the letters and developing events, and rightly so. Isabel Gravitt has previously appeared on The American Housewife and Little Fires Everywhere, if you were wondering where you've seen her before. Moving along, we have the Winslows. Pearl and Jasper Winslow are a sibling duo played by Mia Farrow and Terry Kinney, respectively. They're connected to the dumb waiter that's installed in Dean and Nora's house. The titular Watcher sends his letter to the family via this dumb waiter. How this plays out on the screen is for you to watch, but as significant as the food elevator is to the story, Mia Farrow and Terry Kinney's Winslow characters got all tangled in the story as well, once Dean and Nora decide to further investigate the actions of the Watcher. Mia Farrow is most famously known for her main role in the classic horror film Rosemary's Baby. She has also been a part of many films by Woody Allen, such as The Purple Rose of Cairo, Hannah, and Crimes and Misdemeanors. Terry Kinney, on the other hand, has had various appearances on the American drama Billions, as well as Inventing Anna. Following that, we have Maureen and Mitch. Played by Margot Martindale and Richard Kind, Maureen and Mitch are the next-door neighbors to the Brannocks. They have a rather weird and embarrassing interaction with Dean at the very start. After Dean sees her on their side of the house, cutting up the wild arugula, he confronts her and Mitch, upon which she becomes stubborn and says that they had overgrown from their side of the area, and she's just cutting what is hers. When Dean asks how she even came over, she explains in a rather condescending tone, the missing area in the bushes. Mitch adds another comment, asking if he even looked at the house before buying it. The scarier part comes when Maureen tells Dean that if he had been nicer to them, they could have been friends, because in this neighborhood, everyone looks out for one another. This was followed by her telling Dean that now they're going to be watching them for other reasons. This may not seem like much, but the tone in which Margot delivered the dialogues is sure to put you on the edge of your seat. Richard Kind is known for his work in American Dad, while Margot Martindale has had a notable performance as Claudia in The Americans. In addition to that, she's also had roles in movies such as Orphan, $1 Million Baby, and Eye of God. Next up, we have Noma Dumas-Veni portraying a private investigator. In the real-life story, the Broadduses hired several experts, which included 2 former FBI agents and a private investigator. Theodora Birch may not be the portrayal of a specific person from the actual story, but her character represents in some ways the team of experts that the Broaddus family put together to locate and identify the Watcher. Even when the police failed and were unable to expose the person responsible, this team helped keep the investigation going. Dumas Veni's character decides to help the family in the series after she finds out that she has cancer. Dumas Veni is known for being a part of Doctor Who, The Undoing, and Shameless, to name a few. She will also be seen as Queen Selina in the upcoming live-action The Little Mermaid. Then there's Joe Mantello appearing as William Bill Webster, John Graff. Joe Mantello's character was not a part of the New York Magazine that first brought the Broaddus family into the spotlight. But interestingly, he seems to be based on John List, a real-life convicted killer of 5 members of his own family. List lived in New Jersey in the 1960s and 70s with his mother Alma, wife Helen, and 3 children, Patricia, John, and Frederick. Police found the family dead in their house because of gunshot wounds. They also found a letter from List that said he killed them because he saw too much evil in the world. John List stayed out of the police hands for decades until he was found, owing to an episode of America's Most Wanted in 1989. He was convicted and died in 2008 while he was in prison. William Bill appears for a short while in the series. He's seen at the open house before the Brannocks decide to buy it. The audition of such a character into the series is a bold yet interesting move that brings in and connects another, completely different story to the main one. Finally, we have Dakota and Detective Rourke Chamberlain. Neither of the two characters holds much significance to the main story, yet we'll talk about them since they're a part of it as well. Dakota, played by Henry Hunter Hall, is a security company worker who gets romantically involved with Ellie. Detective Rourke, on the other hand, who's played by Christopher McDonald, he's hired by the Brannocks as another attempt at solving the mystery behind the letters. At the same time, he shows no interest in helping them. It's worth mentioning that Christopher McDonald has over 200 acting credits on his CV. That's a wrap for this video. What's your take on the new series on Netflix? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.